Well, hello and welcome to Money Talks. I'm your host, Ed Marshall. The 2017 carnival season is upon us. Tourists and locals alike are preparing to celebrate Mardi Gras. Well, for the first time in the history of carnival, there's a 175-year-old ladies organization that will literally take to the streets to celebrate Mardi Gras riding on their own float. We'll tell you more when we return.
Mondays at 6 p.m. on WLAE.
Well, hello and welcome back to Money Talks. I'm your host, Ed Marshall. You know, it's so much going on in February. Of course, we have Black History Month, and then, of course, we have Mardi Gras. So many things happening in terms of Mardi Gras celebration as tradition here in New Orleans. Well, you know, and there'll be lots of floats and people throwing things, but this year you're going to actually hear people saying, you've heard, throw me something, mister. How about throw me something, sister? That's right. The Sisters of the Holy Family will be actually riding in on the Femme Fatale Parade on February 19th. And with me now is, we used to call her Mother Superior, Greta Jupiter. And I'm so happy to say that I work with you all on the Business Development Board out at Holy Family. Sister, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Of course, this is all part of your 175th anniversary of the Holy Family Nuns being in existence. Just take it away and tell us about this. How did all this come about?
Well, it's a milestone in a lifetime in the history of the Sisters of the Holy Family. We were founded in 1842 by Henriette Leo. And so on November the 21st, 2017, that will mark 175 years of our founding of the Sisters of the Holy Family. And we're all excited about it, and we wanted this to be a grand celebration because it's just such a wonderful thing that we want to share with everybody.
Right. And you all certainly doing it in a big way. I believe this is a history-making event. I don't believe an order has ever been in a actual parade in New Orleans. So tell us how you all got with the Femme Fatale. And by the way, that's the ladies' crew, and they're wonderful ladies. So talk to us about that.
Yes, I know one of the founding members of the crew of Femme Fatale, Anne Marie Allen. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that we wanted to celebrate our anniversary by having a parade. In the past, we've had small parades, you know, and for our 169th anniversary, we had a neighborhood parade, but never on real floats. Mm-hmm. And so when I looked at their parade, when they marched the first time, I said, this is really a nice parade. This is a nice crew. It's a crew of all women. Mm-hmm. And so I just simply posed a question to Anne Marie, and I said, do you think it's possible that we could ride on one of the floats? And so she said, I really think so. And she encouraged me to write to the president of the crew and ask if that would be okay. And lo and behold, I got an invitation inviting 20 sisters to ride on a float that will be dedicated to us.
Wow. And
we didn't have to worry about the throws because they were going to give us throws. And to no cost to us, they would take care of everything. We would be their honorary guests.
And these are going to be special throws, right?
Special beads with a doubloon on it, which will have our logo announcing 175 years of the Sisters of the Holy Family.
Okay.
And on the other side will be their logo.
Okay. Now, sister, I must tell you, you know, there are so many throws, and plus they're going to have some type of football or something else going on. There'll be a lot of people. So I'm sure they're going to give you all a lot of throws. But in case y'all need additional ones for people out there who say, wait a minute, I want to send some money or whatever to help them get even more throws to throw that day, how would they do that?
Well, they can certainly contact us at our mother house at 504-241-3088.
Okay.
And simply say that they'd like to give us a donation of beads or whatever. And we're at 6901 Chef Mentor Highway, so they can just bring it if they want to.
Or if they want to write a check, they can make it out to the Holy Family Nuns.
Sisters of the Holy Family, that's correct.
And then that way might be able to take it and then give it to the Femme Fatale people, and they can get more of the special doubloons.
Yes.
That is such a wonderful, wonderful. I know Ariette DeLille would be absolutely amazed, because she was a lady that was pre-thinking herself when she organized this order. And of course, here we were able to produce a very special documentary on Sister Ariette DeLille. And I must say, it's going to be running again on WLAE on February 15th, and February 16th, and February 17th. And it's called The Legacy of Love, Ariette DeLille and the Sisters of the Holy Family. So what do you think of it? You saw the documentary. So many people have seen it and called in.
I've seen it, and I just think that it is wonderful because of the fact that it really started at the very beginning when she first founded the community in 1842, and it brought it all the way up to the present day to show that we're carrying on the ministries that she first began, but adapting that to the need of today.
Yeah.
And in education and healthcare and taking care of the sick and the elderly. But we've expanded to pastoral care and prison ministry and working in social justice issue. So we're very grateful to WLE. We were very grateful to Ashton Ryan and to you for your financial support in helping to produce that documentary. It's the best one I've ever seen, and I've gotten so many compliments from everybody.
We're glad that you came out, sister. And I may come out and be one of y'all escorts and walk along if I can, me and my family, because we just love y'all and just believe in so much of the work that you all do in terms of outreach. And we appreciate having you all in the city and all parts of the United States.
Thank you so very much.
All
God
righty.
bless you, and thank you for having me today.
For sure, and also thank you to the ladies of Femme Fatale, and of course this is a morning parade, February 19th. You can check the parade route. Of course, everybody will know about that in oncoming days. So, sister, thanks for being here. Give our best to all the wonderful sisters, and tell them to keep praying for us as we need
I will.
it.
I definitely will.
Very good. All righty. We'll be back with more Money Talks right after this, so don't go away.
You're watching WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. Find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back. The 10th annual Family Gras celebration in Metairie is once again bringing in big-name artists for the Mardi Gras crowd to enjoy. And it also brings in big bucks for the Jefferson Parish economy. Take a listen.
We saw an opportunity with Family Gras to be the first weekend of Mardi Gras. It's traditionally not the biggest weekend of our area, but it was an opportunity for our hotel occupancy to grow, for us to create some magic, if you will, that would go along and enhance all of our carnival parades. So Family Gras is about not only the carnival parades, but they go center stage at the end of each day in the concert, but it's also about celebrating our food. Louisiana is known for its food. Our visitors love to come and eat our food, and but it's also to celebrate our music. So we have national artists with Family Gras, but we also have a lot of Louisiana artists too that we get to celebrate. So it's a celebration of our history and our culture for our visitors to come in and kind of feel like a local for a weekend. But at the same time, Patrick, it also gives us that opportunity 365 days a year to educate those visitors that come for those 3 days on the other things that we have in Jefferson Parish for them to do. We're really excited about this year's Family Gras. We're very excited about our artists. We're excited to celebrate our 10th production. So it's been a big year for us. So Friday night, we're going to have the Creole String Beans will open the show at 5:30. And then we'll also have the Cowsills. The Cowsills is a family band that is the inspiration, or was the inspiration, for the Partridge Family. So it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of relive some of that. And then it closes on Friday evening with the Association. So we get to do some songs like Cherish and Windy. And Saturday, again, we go back and celebrate our local artists with Paris Avenue. And we'll also have Big Sam and Funky Nation, and he was actually with us last year for Family Gras. So much fun, so much energy in the audience. So we're really excited to have him back. And then we'll also have Tony Orlando on Saturday, and we'll also close out with Fifth Harmony.
Well, thank you, Violet. Well, carnival time is a fun time throughout the metropolitan area, but safety is a top priority for locals as well as tourists. Here are some safety tips from our CEO of Crime Stoppers, Darlene Costanza.
I guess for tourists, first off, I always want them to be rest assured that there are so many law enforcement agencies or agents there. So it really is a safe place to be. And there are checkpoints and certain procedures put in place. So New Orleans, no one does it better than New Orleans, in my opinion. But what you're looking for is you want to make sure that you're going in well-traveled areas. You want to make sure that you know which streets to go onto and not to. And you can talk to a concierge at the hotel for that information. And then when you go out, you want to limit your belongings. So you don't want to go out with lots of big purses or camera bags or lots of cash in your back pocket. Even cell phones. I mean, cell phones now have become targets, pickpocket targets. I mean, big, a hot item. So you want to make sure everything's in front of you and limited for where you want to go. For parents, or if you bring in children, tourists bring in children, you want to talk to your kids about a couple of things. You want to make sure that they know that you're not going to run in the street. That's the first safety thing. So we forget, we're all excited, we're going after those big treasures, and then you're hurt. Those barricades are there for a purpose. Don't jump over those barricades. Don't get those ladders too close to the barricades. Also, you want to tell them where a meeting place is. This goes back to Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Whatever you learn in kindergarten, you're supposed to remember. You know a meeting place. So if I'm lost, I know I need to be at this place where my parents are going to come to find me. The next thing you do is you locate the law enforcement officers who are close by, and there's, again, many of them out there. You show the young person, your child, this is who you would go to if you need to. If you don't see another adult, you want to talk to the law enforcement, and they will help you. And that's including EMS, fire, of course, and police. They're going to have different checkpoints where they do put missing children, and you want to be educated on that too. You can go to the city's website, they post that information, but make sure you know, if they're not at the checkpoint where you told them to be, know where that missing children's checkpoint is. And then the information you put it in your child's pocket. If they're not old enough to know, to be able to say, this is my mom and my dad, this is their cell phone number, well, first off, they should always be with an adult. But make sure you have some information that can help identify your child in a safe place on the child. Not on the back of a t-shirt where a stranger could see it and call out that child. Have it hidden inside the pocket, inside the shoe, and let's make sure the child knows. And rehearse these things, talk about these things. The other big thing we see with Mardi Gras is where you park your car. A lot of people don't realize that they're going to park either against traffic, which becomes a ticket issue, or they're going to leave things in an unlocked car. You want to park in a parking lot, a secure parking lot. You want to make sure that everything is secured in the trunk or not of view, and lock the car. And last but not least, we all like to party to a Mardi Gras. That's what it's all about. Make sure you don't party too much. So make sure you know where you parked your car. Make sure you know the street. You see the icons. It'll help you find it. And that you don't drink and drive. I'd say last, that's what we see. The type of arrest, you see a lot of people who overindulge, and then we're seeing drinking and driving. So again, do not party responsibly. Law enforcement is on the lookout for this. They need to be. It's a safety issue. So make sure you don't drink and drive. Have that designated driver or a person with you.
Sometimes people take for granted just what Crime Stoppers does. We want to tell you about a very special story that Crime Stoppers locally was involved with, where there was a situation that was brought to our attention by one of the law enforcement officers that we work with. Our senior correspondent, Larry Lunsford, has the story. Take a listen.
Each day across the United States, hundreds of young people are reported missing. Frantic parents or other loved ones begin the saddening task of trying to locate their child. They contact local law enforcement agencies and anyone else they may know in the law enforcement profession. Such was the case for family friends of local U.S. Marshal Ginny May, who received a phone call recently about a young man that was missing in a state up north.
Before the Thanksgiving holidays, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, she and her husband both retired from the military, and they had one child who I met. She brought him here this summer, and she sent me a text saying that he was missing. So it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and so I sprang into action trying to give her guidance about what to do, mainly because what I had experienced with Crime Stoppers here, I had a good idea of the best way to manage something like that. So contacted her, told her to reach out right away to Crime Stoppers, NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the police department, the newspaper, get in front of the media, and it really wound up being a heart-wrenching experience watching there were several things that happened that kind of went wrong early on, and it's not unusual that when a parent reports a child, or anyone missing for that purpose, but when they report them missing, the police typically think they're runaways. And that's what happened in that case. But I knew, based on my experience, that that was probably not true, because what had happened is he had not come home when he said he was going to come home. He was an A student, very reliable. And he not only didn't come home, but they found his vehicle burned up in the mountains the next day. So they were thinking he ran away, and I'm thinking, let's say I'm a mother. No 16-year-old boy burns their car and runs away. They take the car. So I knew something was wrong, but it took a while for the police to get into action. So what I've learned through Crime Stoppers is that sometimes you have to take handle of the whole situation yourself and start stuff. So I had them reach out right away to Crime Stoppers in that state, and they had so many problems.
May immediately began working with law enforcement in that state and did what she would have done if the child was missing here: contact the Crime Stoppers organization. To her dismay, she discovered that Crime Stoppers there was sorely lacking the wherewithal to get out in front of the situation and help in areas to assist law enforcement. She then put in a call to CEO Darlene Costanza, who heads up Crime Stoppers in our metropolitan area.
Well, I always knew that our organization in some ways was set up a little bit differently. Many of the organizations are run strictly by volunteers or, ad hoc law enforcement agencies. And putting myself in the place of as a mother also, and realizing in the investigative side, time is of the essence. I was trying to counsel Jenny with being able to give the best scenarios that we could get to get serviced immediately. And regretfully, the story didn't end well. But I think what our organization has done, and I really pride our organization on this, and with our partners, is understanding the immediate need, and also understanding the role that citizens play in this, which is critical. And for us, we make and break cases all the time, and parents and families have nowhere else to go to. So when they come to us, they're in that state of shock. They're in that state of certainly grief, disbelief, and they just need answers.
The information May received proved helpful in locating the missing boy, but it was too late. Much time had passed. Officials contacted his family with the sad news that their son's dead body had been recovered.
So Crime Stoppers was not prepared really to handle something like that. It was a small reward. They had no plans. They didn't have really an executive director per se. They didn't have somebody that got out in front of the media, and that was very important. And it was weeks before the family was able to get their own reward set up. And all that matters. And I was spoiled because I knew what happened here, and I knew that if something happened that Darlene would jump on it, and the Crime Stoppers people would jump on top of it, and they'd manage it well, and we'd know something within a day or two. It was actually 3 weeks before they found the boy's body, and 5 teenage boys had beat the boy, walked him into the woods, shot him in the head, and for no reason except that he was everything that they weren't.
The first thing I always get from cases that are a week, 2, 6 weeks old, whatever, is this a cold case? And it's never a cold case as long as information comes in and the investigators are working the case. And one of the things that we do is when we take that information, we just don't let it go. We follow back on that information. So when families know that they get the tips, and the other process, what Jenny knew so well about, was reward money. Our organization is set up a little bit differently on how we handle rewards and how people can post additional monies to us. We have a contract already in place. We've been doing this for years with great success. That added money sometimes is critical to getting people to open up. And it's also time sensitive too. We also know that you want to make the first announcement and you want to wait. So many times inexperienced groups will, let's announce new reward amounts each week. That really hurts the process.
I think the reward money is important, but really it's knowing who to contact in the media, getting out in front of the media, making sure that your story's out there, that the pictures are out there, and nothing goes away. The thing that Crime Stoppers does so well here is they do manage all of that. They do all of that for the family, and that's unheard of.
When you see some of the most violent crimes happening, particularly in our city, it's usually amongst people who know each other. There's a relationship there. So why would the person that living next door or the family member who knows the information feel safe in many instances to come forward? and that's what we give. We give that safety, we give that peace of mind. So it's an incredibly important process that people don't understand, and when you're grieving and you're that family member, it's probably the most important process that you need to have in your pocket.
May said she wanted to share this story to let the public throughout the metropolitan area know that the local Crime Stoppers personnel and board should never be taken for granted, believing that so many lives in other parts of our country could be saved by the experience and the partnership that Crime Stoppers and law enforcement provide, working together to bring criminals to justice.
And this is an international organization, so they all follow standard procedures to protect the anonymity or the identities never released on the tipster. And we have privileged information statutes that actually guides our information. But more importantly than that, we have a relationship with law enforcement that they know this is not going to come up. And we do need, people always say, well, then what about witnesses? Well, we need witnesses, but we're going to make sure that witness gets delivered in a very protective way.
Good report. Hopefully it'll help someone else. We'll be back with more after this. Hello, I'm Ed Marshall, money coach and host of the Money Talk Show. Our goal each month is to keep you informed on financial issues affecting you and your family. Whether it's concerns about the stock market, mortgages, local community initiatives, or decisions made on Capitol Hill, we do our best to bring you news that you can use. So join me for Money Talks every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. right here on WLAE. Well, it's time for our Ask Ashton segment. Each month, our community leader, Ashton Ryan, is always asked from viewers about different things that concern them. Well, Josh Middleton from the Garden District area wants to know. He said that retail shopping in downtown and in highly populated parts of the city has dwindled, and he wants to know if that heyday of when shopping was a true experience will ever come back. Here's Ashton's answer.
It's doing fine, and I do believe that New Orleans used to be the retail mecca of the whole region. I can remember as a child coming downtown with my mom, who shopped every Wednesday because that's where all the department stores were on Canal Street. I do believe that potential still exists. We still have a great demographic uptown. We have a lot of people repopulating Lakeview. We have a lot of good economics going, and even in some of the areas that were hardest hit by Katrina, such as Gentilly and New Orleans East, we're seeing a lot of good recovery. So there's a lot of disposable income coming into the market. In downtown, we have thousands and thousands of people in apartments now downtown that never used to live in a downtown area. So we've got proximity to a lot of good economics, and I think that will return the retail business back into New Orleans. I think Claiborne was a perfect example of a place, a big wide street, plenty of parking, a lot of ease in access and ease of egress. I think those are the things that will dominate. But I still think when we bring in more and more tourists in, we still haven't figured out how to really make retail work for tourism like it used to. We bring in a lot of people that come to conventions and they bring their spouses, and the spouses have plenty of time to shop. But we don't have a lot of really first-class shopping that could be done. And we started with the reconversion of the start of the outlet mall at the Riverwalk, but we got plenty more stuff to do, it seems to me. And I do think that strategically locating, like Carrollton Avenue is another major area that is a neighborhood area, but it's developed a good retail presence and it's doing well. I think there's opportunity for more of that, expanding it, and I really believe the greatest opportunity is to redevelop the retail downtown where it can take advantage of the tourist dollars.
Well, thank you, Ashton. And if you have a question for Ashton Ryan, post your question to our Facebook, Money Talks with Ed Marshall, and we'll get it to him. More Money Talks is on the way, so stay right here.
Weeknights at midnight on LAE.
Welcome back. Well, the month of February is also recognized as Black History Month, a special month to learn more about the contributions of African Americans to the growth and the development of the United States. Places like Ashe Cultural Arts Center here, the New Orleans African American Museum, are just a few of the places that one can visit this special month, and any month actually. Well, also we want to tell you about the Amistad Research Center. The Amistad Research Center, in conjunction with Tulane University, will host former New Orleans Mayor Mark Morial as a guest speaker in recognition of Black History Month on February 16th at 7 p.m. at Tulane's Lavin Burdick Center. And another story we want to tell you about is Kenner's Rivertown Main Street organization received an economic shot in the arm lately. The multifaceted plan helps in revitalization of the Rivertown area and qualifies it for additional tax incentives and programs. Kenner is now part of a community of Main Street leaders throughout Louisiana. The recent grant was made available by the National Endowment for the Arts, Chamber Music America, and Project for Public Spaces called Sound Places Grant. Mike Ince, who heads up the Rivertown organization, talked with us about the grant and what it will provide. Here's Mike.
Grant is going to provide some technical capacity building for our board as well as our elected officials, while combining creative placemaking opportunities with live music performances. I think the big push for us is that we have a tremendous amount of resources when it comes to artists and musicians. So that's really what this grant is going to combine, is those two together. And we've already started with that in Rivertown with our public art gallery that we have. It's a courtyard that was formerly just an abandoned courtyard attached to our science museum, and we have turned that into a public mural gallery. And so it's an outdoor gallery, and what we propose for that is every 6 months the murals change. So we currently have 4 murals up right now, and we're fundraising for 4 more, and then a permanent full-scale mural as well. So we will be having a monthly art installation series. It's called the Rivertown Art After Dark. So we're going to be hosting artists from throughout the region to come participate in our public art courtyard. And currently the fee is free. We're waiving it for all artists that are willing to participate. So they can actually email me, and I'll provide them with an application, and then their work will be juried by our Rivertown Arts Council. So, building on that, we're looking to be as inclusive as possible for artists throughout the district as well as throughout the region. And a big hindrance for artists is paying that event fee, and we would like to waive that for the first year and have as many people participate as possible, so we can kind of create that atmosphere for our residents and for people throughout the district to know that we're going to have these continual events going on in Rivertown, and then building upon that with the Sound Places grant that we are going to incorporate music along with it. A big key factor for Kenner is that a lot of folks either don't have the ability or the desire to travel into New Orleans to see a lot of our available musicians, as well as the other side of that musicians, especially from New Orleans, would like to stay home and perform and make a living instead of having to travel and be away from their families. So for us, we would really like to be known as a welcoming place where we can have more musicians come out and participate in our district. And it's going to be an event that is continual, so that we want to have as many small wins as possible so that people don't necessarily have to look up on Facebook to see whether we're going to have it, that they already know that we're going to have it one Saturday a month. I believe the 3rd Saturday of each month.
Well, thanks, Mike. Well, that's going to do it for Money Talks for this month. Hopefully you've gotten some information that you can use. Until next month, do something good for yourself, do something good for someone else, and we'll see you. Take care.